Welcome everyone, George Rapidas, nutritionist and chef, here on Eat Right by George, the cooking show that shows you that healthy can be delicious. And on today's show, we will be showing you how to make a calamari salad. Yes, really exciting, a calamari salad. And as you know, calamari is also known as squid, which is part of the cephalopod sea animal party. And there are a lot of interesting facts about calamari. I bet you didn't know that calamari can range from a few inches to a few feet in height to even 1,000 pounds. Yes, there have been calamari that have been discovered that weighed up to 1,000 pounds. So they're really interesting, and actually they can be quite nutritious with only about 120 calories per cup of calamari. So they're really good for you. And many times you see calamari served as deep fried, and sometimes you see them served as an appetizer. But in this episode, we're going to show you how to make a calamari salad, which is going to contain things such as walnuts, which are good sources of omega-3 fatty acids. It's going to contain cherry tomatoes, which are great sources of vitamin A and vitamin C. It will contain lemon juice, and as you know, lemon juice is a great complement for seafood because it kind of offsets some of the flavors and enhances the flavor as well. And I'm going to have a little sweet red onion to give the dish a little sweetness. Some other great ingredients we're going to be using is red wine. We're going to use this in the red wine sauce for the calamari. Some grapeseed oil as well. And grapeseed oil has a very low flash point. If you don't have grapeseed oil, you can also use olive oil, of course. We're using grapeseed oil because it has a lower flash point. So that means when you're cooking, you have less smoking in your kitchen, less smoke and more flavor. We're also going to have lettuce, and I always encourage people to get different kinds of lettuce for their salad, such as Boston romaine lettuce, arugula lettuce, of course, and some other really nutritious salad greens, which are great sources of vitamin B. Now you might ask, how can I prepare calamari salad? How do I prepare the calamari? Where can I get calamari? Well, calamari comes in different forms. What I have done here is taken the calamari and kind of got it dressed up for you. What I did is I cleaned it up because calamari actually contains ink. Yeah, you heard right. Calamari actually contains ink that it uses when it's under the sea, sometimes to get rid of predators. It shoots ink. So what you have to do with calamari is wash it thoroughly and scrape the ink off with your knife. And of course, cut off the tentacles. Calamari also has tentacles, usually about 8 to 10 tentacles, as you can see right here. I already cut them off. And you can buy calamari whole, where you cut it yourself, if you feel that you can handle something like that. Or you can already buy it like this, where the tentacles are already sliced off, and you have the whole body of the squid or calamari. Now, many times you can find it pre-breaded, but it's good to get it unbreaded so you can prepare it the way you would like the calamari, because sometimes when it's breaded, you can't do a whole lot with it. You have to actually, only thing you can really do with it is fry it. And we don't want to deep fry it because that's not very healthy. We're going to be sauteing the calamari, which is even better. Now, one other ingredient that we're going to be using for the calamari to give it more taste is garlic. So first thing you want to do with garlic is to take it apart. You're going to need about 1 or 2 little bulbs. Put them on your cutting board. And of course, sometimes you might be wondering, where are the recipes for the complete recipes for the Eat Right by George calamari salad? Well, you can actually look on Facebook. You can send a friend request out, and I'll be more than happy to get the recipe out to you. Now, as you can see, I'm not being very nice to the garlic. I'm smashing it just to get the shell off. So I got the shell off of my garlic here. I'm just using the side of my knife and just gently getting the shell off. Sometimes they slip out. And the next thing you want to do is take a French knife, I was already cutting with it earlier, and cut off the little ends. You don't want these corners on there. And take and mince your garlic. You gotta have garlic in your calamari salad. It's gonna give it some enhanced flavor. Because the problem with calamari is that sometimes it can be kind of bland. If you don't have all the right flavors in there, it can taste kind of plain. Something that will give it some flavor is garlic. And what I want to do is just sort of mince my garlic. So what I'm doing is taking the corner of my knife and the handle and just rocking back and forth until it's minced. Once it's all minced, then we can start chopping some of our other ingredients. And of course, you know that garlic is a great food to help fight heart disease because it gets rid of a lot of the blood clots that we experience. So eating garlic, fresh garlic every day, keeps your blood very clean and free of clots. Okay, we'll put that aside. And the next thing is our red onion. What I did with the red onion is I sliced it in half already. And the reason I do that is that when you slice it in half, it's much easier to take the peel off. So I take one big red onion, slice it in half, take the peel off, put that aside. And as you can see, now I'm ready to put some little scores in here because I want to dice this red onion. So what I do first is put some little scores. I don't go all the way to the core of the onion because if I go too deep, sometimes it releases a lot of sulfur and then you start crying. And people are always asking me, what can I do to prevent myself from crying when I cut a red onion? Well, there's a lot of different things. You can chew gum, you can hold your breath, or you can just sort of avoid cutting into the core of your onion, which has the most sulfur. What I do next, I put a couple little lines on the very top of my onion. I want to slice it, rocking back and forth, getting some uniform slices. You need about a half of a red onion, a large one. And then you don't want to get all of that. You just want enough to give your calamari salad some color and flavor. So we put that together with our garlic. The next thing I want to cut in half are my cherry tomatoes. And look how beautiful these are. These are so versatile. You can use cherry tomatoes in so many different dishes. And they're just so pretty when you're trying to make a nice salad. So what I do with these is just cut them in half. Really simple. And as we said before, cherry tomatoes, great source of vitamin A, vitamin C. They're good for our eyes and our immune system. So I took about 3 or 4 there, cut them in half. Put those aside. Next, I want to cut a lemon in half, which I did earlier. And make sure to roll your lemons. When you roll them, it produces more juice from the lemon. So you're going to have a lemon for this also. And make sure to chop a few pieces, a few leaves of cilantro. As you can see, cilantro is a very beautiful herb. It's used in a lot of Mexican dishes such as salsa. I chop a little bit. It's going to give the dish some color. So I chop a little bit of cilantro. It's a garnish. If you don't have cilantro, you can also use parsley. So I put that aside here. So we sort of started our little prep work here for our salad, our calamari salad. And already we've got the garlic, really simple, minced it, red onion, cherry tomatoes, a little bit of cilantro. We'll put that aside. And next we'll work on our pan, getting that warmed up. We'll put it about a medium heat. And as I like to emphasize people is try to get green friendly pans when you're cooking. Use types of pans that have ceramic coating that are green friendly. That way you're not being exposed to toxins. This particular pan doesn't contain any metals, which can be harmful when you're trying to cook. And sometimes when you're cooking at high temperatures, your pan will tend to smoke and you're producing toxins. So even if you're trying to cook healthy, you're taking in unnecessary toxins. So I got this little portable burner, put it about medium heat. I'm going to put a little bit of the grapeseed oil to get started, get that heated, usually about a tablespoon. This particular pan, you don't really need a whole lot of oil because it's non-stick, but I like to put a little grapeseed oil in there just for flavor. So we'll let that heat up because you don't want to start cooking with a cold pan. And we'll go back to the squid, to our calamari. And what I did before is I cleaned up the calamari, got it ready, and what I'm going to do next is saute it. But before you do anything, you should take your calamari and blanch it for about 3 to 4 minutes in about 3 to 4 cups of boiling water. You don't want to leave it in there too long or it's going to get really tough. So I put the calamari in there for about a minute or two, and once it blanches, the calamari will look just like this. You get round calamari, and even the tentacles that I put in there and blanched, as you can see, they also puff up. So once they puff up, they're going to be a lot easier to saute and a lot easier to slice into little rings, as you can see. Now these particular calamari I also marinated overnight. So what I did is I put them in some olive oil, about 2 or 3 tablespoons. I put some cilantro on there, a little bit of lemon juice, and let them marinate because they need some type of flavoring to enhance the flavor or they'll be very bland. So I got my pan going here. Make sure it's hot. Sounding good. And always when you're cooking, you want to make sure your pan is hot. When you add your first ingredient, which would be your garlic, you want to make sure that it starts sizzling. So let that cook up and grab my spoon. And saute our garlic. Get that cooking. And your house is going to smell so good because you have all these fresh ingredients that you're cooking with. So I got my garlic cooking. Next I'm going to add my red onion. Little bite-sized pieces. Oh yeah, now we're really cooking. And make sure to cook evenly and to stir it up. And I love these type of pans because they distribute the heat evenly while you're cooking. So one side of your pan is not too hot and then the other side too cold. Because I really don't enjoy that too much when I'm trying to cook and one side of the thing that you're cooking, such as let's say you're making a pancake, one side of it is cooked golden brown, the other side is not at all golden brown. Now once your onions become translucent, which means you can actually see through them a little bit, then you can start adding some of the other ingredients. That makes the dish even more appealing. And what's happening is while they're cooking, they're releasing sugar. It's kind of caramelizing in your pan. So now that I see that my onions are cooking, and also I'm sauteing them. Sauteing means in French that they're jumping. So you want to saute, make the dish jump. Now I can start adding my tomatoes, my cherry tomatoes, because they don't need as long to cook. They're really more there for color, more than anything, of course, in flavor. But we don't want to overcook our tomatoes, so I kind of put it in midway through. Oh yeah, this is going to be so good. This is a great summer dish. Everything is so fresh. Once again, sauteing, using the saute pan. Next, we're adding our cilantro. Giving it some nice color. And now, kick up our heat a little bit more. And start adding our toaster's falling. That's okay. Adding our calamari.